Introduction. Think of the silhouette, the deerstalker, the Roman nose, the pipe. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes is quite simply the most famous figure in all of crime fiction. What's more, he is one of the most recognizable fiction characters in the Western world and beyond. And although he owes something to his literary predecessors, in the detective fiction genre, Sherlock Holmes is the template for virtually every fictional detective that has followed him. Even those who did not emulate him were obliged to do something markedly different, so seismic was his impact. The brilliant, impatient master of deductive reasoning who shared rooms at 221B Baker Street with his faithful chronicler Dr. John H. Watson is as popular today as when the young and ambitious author Sir Conan Doyle created him. Without a doubt, Sherlock Holmes is a figure for the ages, and this book is a celebration of the detective in all his myriad facets. Early inspirations. When the American writer Edgar Allan Poe wrote about a proto-Holmes protagonist, C. Auguste Dupin, in a series of stories that virtually forged the detective fiction format, he had his rather remote sleuth utilizing observation, logic, and lateral thinking, all while demonstrating his skill to an awestruck unnamed narrator. The Holmes formula, in fact, in embryo. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was a close reader of such Poe stories as The Murders in the Rue Morgue, 1841, and he borrowed a variety of notions from Dupin and developed them far beyond anything Poe had ever dreamed of. Influenced also by his charismatic professor at Edinburgh University, Dr. Joseph Bell, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle forged an imperishable canon of work over some 40 years with his stories and novels about the great detective, each brimming with atmosphere and invention. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle inspired a reading public so obsessed with Holmes that the writer's attempt to kill off the character he had grown tired of in the short story The Final Problem was met with national outrage. Writer at work. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's own life was often as remarkable as anything to be found in his more bizarre fiction, particularly in his later years, when his interest in spiritualism increasingly came to the fore. His feelings toward the character he had created in Sherlock Holmes were famously mixed. A well-known Punch cartoon of the day showed the author chained to the great detective, and Conan Doyle often expressed his frustrated wish to be remembered for something other than his famous protagonist. But it was Sherlock Holmes, rather than the author's own preferred historical fiction, that made Conan Doyle one of the most celebrated popular writers of his age. The famous duo. Apart from the mesmerizing genius of his detective, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's most durable achievement within the Sherlock Holmes stories and novels was the relationship he established between the logical sleuth and his colleague Watson, the latter a surrogate for the reader, which the writer finessed into something immensely satisfying. Much of the pleasure of the stories and novels may be found in the interaction between Holmes and Watson, as much as from the jaw-dropping revelations of the plots. Holmes on the page. The Sherlock Holmes book not only examines the complete canonical collection of 56 short stories and the 4 memorable novels, the most famous of which, of course, is The Hound of Baskervilles, but also applies to the kind of forensic attention to all things Holmesian that the sleuth himself utilized in his cases, including the life and character of his creator, along with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's non-Holmes work. No man has brought the same amount of study and of natural talent to the detection of crime which I have done. Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet, 1887. Beyond the canon. While the original canon of Holmes' stories or novels remains the key element in the detective's popularity, it is the infinite and continuing flexibility of Holmes and Watson as characters that has rendered them relevant and ripe for multiple reinterpretations, even today, in a manner that such Holmes imitators as Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot could not begin to rival. One reason for the longevity of the character is his immensely flexible appeal when adapted for drama, on stage, film, and television. Actors love to take up the magnifying glass pipe and violin and surround themselves with the cozy clutter of 221B Baker Street. All the key actors who have taken on the mantle of Holmes are celebrated here, from the earliest portrayals to the most recent. Benedict Cumberbatch in a massively successful modern-day reimagining of Sherlock Holmes in the 21st century. In these pages, you will also find the literary offshoots, the creation of Adventures of the Great Detective by writers other than Conan Doyle, which begin when the author was still alive and included such practitioners as his son, Adrian Conan Doyle. Over the years, there have been many Holmes pastiche, from retellings of canonical works to complete reinventions of the detective's cases. Other areas for examination are the influence of Conan Doyle's writing on the crime fiction genre, along with the ways in which the Holmes stories provide insight into historical and social aspects of Victorian England, 19th century criminology and forensics, and the science and methods of logical thought and deduction. The Great Detective. In short, the Sherlock Holmes book provides a guide to all aspects of Holmesiana. It's a celebration of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's most fascinating creation, the great detective Sherlock Holmes. When you have eliminated the possible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Sherlock Holmes, The Sign of 1890. Barry Forshaw and David Stuart Davies, consultant editors.